We've gotten to this point of the preseason rankings. We asked 33 experts to rank the top 25, and now it's time to reveal the top 5. However, we should have the discussion as to how you go about preseason rankings because everybody approaches it differently. Do you sit here and say, as I know this team now, this roster, and what this team is, and who's taken the field, this is how I rank the team right now? Or the way some people do it of saying, I'm projecting what the season ahead is. I believe you rank the team you know right now, and that is why I voted Georgia number 1. Okay. I know what I have with a veteran quarterback.
Are we penciling you in for Georgia wins the SEC?
I said right now, I believe Georgia to be.
Yeah, that's how I feel about preseason rankings.
Okay.
Because
how do you approach it?
They don't matter. I don't approach it at all. I'm here because you asked me to come in and talk about this stuff. I don't approach it because of that stuff. Georgia's number 1, but are they going to win? Easy.
Hey, hold on, pump the brakes.
That's a different conversation, though. How do you approach it when it comes to preseason?
Well, first of all, when you start looking at the teams, if you go back and look at the ESPN 300 top recruits and who got the most, that's usually where you find the best teams. Seriously. And then I think you start looking at talent. You look at returning talent. But Alabama, every year, what do you want me to do?
85% of the roster are blue
6 first-round picks. Should I put them at number 1? Well, they still got Nick Saban. Quarterbacks are just plug and play.
Should we see? Should we get right to it?
Well, I mean, there's no spoiler alert. Alabama's always number 1.
Well, should we see? You want to get to it?
Sure.
Number 5 is Ohio State. Listen, loaded defensive line, veteran talent, young talent, replacing Justin Fields. Size them up.
They will go undefeated. I agree with you. It depends on what happens in the playoff. For a lot of these, Clemson, the same thing. What happens when you get into the playoff?
Number 4 is Georgia.
Yeah, and listen, there's reason for optimism. The offensive line all comes back. You talk about weapons that come back. Pass rush comes back. Everything that they needed, they addressed in the transfer portal.
That's right.
So there's no excuses for Georgia. They've got everything they need, so there's a reason why they're number 4.
Dabo has won 6 straight ACC championships. Preseason ranking, the experts say number 3.
Yeah, and we expected them to be here also. They got to get better on the defensive side to get more athletic. See, at the end of last season against Ohio State, defensively, especially on the back end, they didn't look very good. They got to get better there.
Now comes the trendy pick alert because all off season, you think about the way they finished up, the momentum of last season, Oklahoma comes in at number 2.
Well, you see Spencer Rattler, but more importantly, Lincoln Riley. You know what the offense is going to be. I think the biggest takeaway I saw was the defensive trenches last year for Oklahoma was vastly improved, and I think it's going to be the same this year. Way improved, way up, so I get Oklahoma being in the top 5.
The Bryce Young-led Alabama Crimson Tide, number 1.
Where did you find the video?
They're retooling.
Well, we did the spring game. Joey and I were down there for the spring game.
And they're retooling. We say this every single year. Look at all the players that Alabama lost. It's amazing. But then everybody votes them number 1 once again.
Speaking of voting number 1, so we had 33 voters, analysts, broadcasters, reporters, the experts at ESPN. 3 teams received first place votes. Georgia received 6.
Go Tess.
Clemson and Ohio State did not receive any first place votes. Oklahoma received 8, and Alabama was 19 of the 33 possible votes. Alabama, a lot of new faces, including offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien. Listen, 2 NFL head coaches coming over to the offensive staff. Bill O'Brien, Doug Marrone. What do you expect with that
They've never replaced
change?
coordinators before either, have they?
But it's interesting about Alabama, though, as we talk about this offense, and they're always replacing offensive coordinators, but they still run the same offense. They run Alabama's offense. So these great coordinators come to Alabama and they say, terrific what you did elsewhere. When you get here, you run the offense that we run here. So the players don't have to learn a new playbook, which helps them continue to be good offensively.
They don't learn a new playbook, but they fit it to the playmaker at the quarterback spot. Like Mac Jones obviously it wasn't as heavy as the RPO game. It was more, you could run the ball, more play action. This is going to be a Tua playbook. This will be back to the RPO heavy game. Like, why would you not do that with Bryce? He's more athletic. He's a smaller guy. He's going to scramble around. He's going to buy time. He's not what Mac Jones was. Less experienced, obviously, too. But again, I fully expect they'll figure it out, and they'll run what's best for that system.
I want to ask you about Oklahoma because I'm sure there are still the people out there who cringe when they see Oklahoma number 2, and they say, where have you seen the success when it comes to the college football playoff? This is a different Oklahoma program now with what Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator, has been building up and the talent they now have on that side of the ball to marry up with all the offensive production.
Yeah, really. And again, they have to prove it. You know what I mean? This is on paper. We think they're going to be better defensively, but they're a team that's in that position. Go show us. Show us what you can do. That matchup against Iowa State is going to be fun to watch.
But they did prove it to me with the big boys in the trenches. It's different. It looks different. It feels different. It's more physical. So I believe that they'll turn it around on the defensive side. I don't believe that was a one and done. I think we'll see more of it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.